AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. Something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable, privileged assholes we are? Immigrants.
Bill Maher just did something nobody on the left has the guts to do anymore. He looked straight into the camera, took aim at the Democrats' shiny new golden child, and basically said, if you let this woman lead the party, you're cooked. And he wasn't whispering it. He wasn't dancing around it with polite political language. He was loud, blunt, and brutally clear. AOC, according to Maher, isn't the future of the Democratic Party. She's the cliff the Democratic Party is about to drive straight off. And the wildest part? He's been right before. He warned them about Kamala. They ignored him. They got destroyed in 2024. Now he's pulling the same fire alarm, and once again, the room full of Democrats has its fingers stuffed in its ears. So, before we dive into this absolute masterclass of political honesty, do me a favor, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell because we break this stuff down every single day. Now, let's get into it because what Maher said about AOC isn't just savage, it's the truth bomb the entire country needed. Let's start with the foundation of his entire argument because this is where most people stop paying attention and miss the most important point. Maher kicks things off by saying something that should be taped to the forehead of every Democratic strategist in America. AOC and Zohran Mamdani are not Democrats. Read that again. They're not. They're Democratic Socialists. And those two things, despite sharing a word, are worlds apart. Maher is begging Americans to wake up to this fact. We already have socialism baked into the country: Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, veterans benefits, Pell Grants, farm subsidies, and even those corporate bailouts everyone loves to pretend never happened. We have so much of a social safety net stitched into capitalism that the rough edges are already softened. But going fully socialist? That's a totally different beast. And Maher is right to flag it because the people,
Bernie, AOC, Mamdani, are not Democrats. They'll be the first to tell you that. They're Democratic Socialists, and that's a very different thing, and I don't think people know that yet. I don't think people realize we already have a lot of socialism. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, food stamps, veterans benefits, Pell Grants, COVID-era payments, farm subsidies, disability payments, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, corporate bailouts, and the jobs program that is building weapons the Pentagon doesn't even want.
And here's where the alarm bells really start ringing. AOC and Mamdani aren't just running parallel campaigns anymore. They're locked in step. They're tag teaming. Mamdani won the New York mayoral race on a platform of free child care, abolishing ICE, and turning the city into a sanctuary fortress. And now AOC is right next to him, recording videos urging parents to enroll their kids in city programs regardless of immigration status. Sounds harmless on the surface, right? Helping kids, who could be against that? But Maher isn't talking about the surface. He's talking about the bigger pattern, the bigger picture. And when you step back and look at it, the trajectory is unmistakable. Open borders, no ICE, sanctuary everything. Free this, free that. Paid for by who? Exactly. And Maher's point lands with devastating accuracy. You can't win a national election in the United States of America while championing completely open borders. You just can't. Americans are tired. They're exhausted. They're not asking for a revolution. They're asking for one of the two parties to please, for the love of God, just act normal for 5 minutes. And speaking of not being normal, can we talk about the Biden comparison? Because this is where the contrast hits like a freight train.
The DSA are radicals about this concept, and radical economic policy is always ineluctably married to radical social policy. Their platform, for example, calls for completely open borders. They're for what Biden was doing, but more. You think you're going to win an election on that? This just seems like more extremism at a time when Americans are begging both parties, please, could just one of you act normal?
Biden, for all his flaws, and let's be honest, there were a lot, was still a moderate at his core. He flirted with loose border policy, sure, but he never threw the doors completely off the hinges. There were still rules, still limits, and still some attempt, however weak, at order. AOC? She'd rip the doors off, melt the hinges down, and sell the scrap metal to fund a free Wi-Fi program. There's no comparison. Biden was the guy who drank too much coffee. AOC is the person who switched to straight espresso shots and wants to redesign the whole cafe. And Maher's worry isn't unreasonable. It's grounded in reality. The Democrats keep underestimating just how far left their rising star really stands. They keep.
Okay, I say the next time we have debates, the moderator needs to frame that question a little differently as, say something about America that you like. Because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore.
Think about that for a second. Really sit with it. If you love something, you don't relentlessly tear it down. You don't wake up every single morning looking for the next reason to be furious about it. You don't treat every microphone like a chance to deliver another monologue about how horrible everything is. But that's AOC's entire brand. It doesn't matter what's happening. Economy booming? She'll find the dark cloud. New jobs created? She'll find who's being exploited. Borders being secured? She'll find the cruelty. There's never a pause, never a moment of credit, and never an acknowledgement that something might actually be working. And voters can feel that. Voters can smell contempt from a mile away. There's a massive difference between healthy criticism that holds leaders accountable and reflexive hatred that just makes you look bitter. One comes from love, the other comes from disdain. And Americans are getting really tired of being hated by the people asking for their votes. Want a perfect example? Maher brought up Cori Bush's tweet on the 4th of July, claiming this land is stolen and Black Americans still aren't free, on Independence Day, of all days.
A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking, and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and Black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost. Perspective.
And let's just pause and address this because it's wild. In a country where Black Americans run Fortune 500 companies, sit in Congress, have served as Secretary of State, have led the Supreme Court, and have lived in the White House for 8 years, the claim that Black people aren't free isn't just a stretch. It's a fantasy. It's not just an exaggeration. It's a complete rewrite of reality. But this is the playbook now: make America sound like a horror movie. Paint everything as oppression. Tell everyone they're victims of a country that's irredeemable. And keep doing it until the entire Democratic brand becomes synonymous with hating America. Maher sees it. Most Americans see it. And the data backs it up.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
Maher sees it. Most Americans see it. And the data backs it up. 72% of Black Americans under 30 are optimistic about their future in this country. That number is higher than that of white Americans the same age. So, the doom narrative isn't just inaccurate. It's actively being rejected by the very people it's supposedly defending. Then Maher dropped my favorite line of the whole monologue, the one about land acknowledgements. You know the ones, those dramatic, performative speeches at the start of every event where someone solemnly declares that they're standing on land stolen from such and such tribe. They sound meaningful. They sound noble. They sound deep. But Maher cut right through it with a single sentence, either give the land back or shut up.
72% of Black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgments where they say, I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe, I say either give it back or shut the fuck up.
And honestly, that's the entire game right there. AOC and her ilk have mastered the art of performative politics. It's theater. It's costume. It's looking like a good person without ever paying the cost of actually being one. Land acknowledgement? Cool. What changed? Did anyone get their land back? Did any community get rebuilt? Did anyone's life improve? No. The cameras switch off, the applause fades, and not a single thing happens. It's political decoration dressed up as activism, and voters are catching on faster than these politicians realize. Now, let's talk about the America hates women narrative because this one is so lazy it almost insults your intelligence.